range of $15,000 to $20,000.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, no, I know.
Harry Batory made those pins, and I think they were some of the very first that he made. My sister worked in the dorms where he stayed at Cranbrook. He gave her one, and then he knew that she had two sisters, so three of us got the brooches, and I have those too.
At first glance, these delicate wire brooches may seem modest, yet they represent an extraordinary moment in the early career of a designer who would later redefine modern sculpture and design. These pieces are attributed to Harry Bertoia, created in the late 1930s during his formative years at Cranbrook Academy of Art. Born in 1915 and immigrating to the United States as a teenager, Bertoia developed his skills in metalworking in Detroit before receiving a scholarship in 1937 to study at Cranbrook, where he later established the Metal Studio in 1939. What distinguishes these brooches is their purely handcrafted construction. There is no soldering. Instead, the forms are assembled through rivets, pins, and tension, reflecting both technical ingenuity and material restraint. This approach aligns closely with the principles of modernist jewelry, where structure, form, and honesty of materials take precedence over ornamentation. The use of forged wire and spiral motifs is particularly significant, foreshadowing the visual language Bertoia would later explore in his celebrated sculptures and furniture designs. These works are exceptionally rare. Bertoia produced jewelry only for a brief period before World War II, when metal rationing curtailed such practices and redirected his career toward graphic design and, ultimately, sculpture. As a result, surviving examples of his early jewelry are scarce and highly sought after, especially by collectors of his later work.
Bertoia's sculpture, these as an addition to a Bertoia collection, each of these pieces alone would bring somewhere between $20,000 to $30,000. So we have a total of $40,000 to $60,000 as an auction estimate. And now that you said there's a third one out there, I would probably say it's around the same value as well.
Oh my God.
It's how rare these are
Well,
and how collectible.
hallelujah. It was worth the trip. It was so nice meeting you, Peter.
My parents bought a dry cleaning business, and this brooch was in an envelope in the extra button drawer.
It is not every day that a forgotten envelope in a button drawer reveals a jewel of remarkable pedigree, but this brooch does exactly that, transforming an ordinary moment into an extraordinary discovery. Crafted by Tiffany & Co. in New York around 1937, the piece belongs to the later phase of the Art Deco period, often referred to as Late Deco. Its circular form reflects a design sensibility that balances geometry with wearability, allowing the brooch to interact dynamically with different fabrics and lighting conditions. Circle pins of this era have regained popularity for precisely this versatility, making them both historically significant and stylistically relevant today. The brooch is set in platinum and features a refined arrangement of baguette-cut diamonds, their linear precision enhanced by two delicate rows of emeralds flanking either side. This subtle yet deliberate use of color introduces contrast and depth, elevating the composition beyond monochromatic brilliance. The presence of original fittings and clasp further reinforces its authenticity and desirability among collectors, as untouched condition is a critical factor in assessing vintage jewelry.
Do you have any idea what it's worth?
I really don't. I have no idea. It's never been appraised, never been looked at. I have no idea.
Retail value, I think you're talking $65,000. Not bad to find in a button drawer.
No, it's not. It is not. Ooh. I can't wait to get it home.
Love Art Nouveau. And when my daughter was born, my husband's grandmother gave me this pin.
How old is she now?
Oh, she's 24. I've already promised her when she gets married and has a child that this will go to her.
Firmly rooted in the flowing elegance of the Art Nouveau movement, the piece was crafted in France and bears the eagle head assay mark indicating 18-karat gold. Its composition centers on a finely enameled female portrait framed by sculptural floral motifs that echo the era's fascination with nature and femininity. The delicate use of enamel, including contra enamel on the reverse, demonstrates a high level of technical sophistication, particularly in achieving depth, luminosity, and lifelike detail. The brooch is signed by Lucien Hertz, a key figure in the development of French Art Nouveau jewelry. Born in 1864, Hertz was closely associated with leading artistic circles, working with renowned figures such as Boucheron and contributing to some of the most important commissions of his time. His work is celebrated for its versatility, blending classical influences, naturalistic forms, and elements of Japonisme, all of which are subtly present in this piece. Comparable in style to larger works preserved in institutions like the Musée d'Orsay, this brooch can be seen as a wearable miniature of a grand artistic vision. Dating from around 1906 to 1915, it stands at the intersection of fine craftsmanship and artistic expression.
Now that we know that, I would place a retail value on this piece of between $30,000 and $40,000.
Wow. I was not expecting that. I thought it would be, maybe $1,000 or $2. Wow. I'm so shocked. That's amazing. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. That was not at all what I was expecting.
My mom passed away in 2009, and that's when I inherited it. It was given to her by her mother, and I think it might have been my great-great-grandmother's also. I'm not sure.
At first glance, this radiant jewel captivates with an unexpected burst of color, hinting at a story far more extraordinary than its quiet passage through generations suggests. Inherited through a distinguished family, with ties to wealthy industrialists in Passaic, this star-shaped brooch reflects both refined taste and the cosmopolitan influences of the late 19th century. Dating to around 1880, the piece embodies a design that was highly fashionable during the period, with the star motif symbolizing elegance and aspiration. While star-form brooches were relatively common, what sets this example apart is its exceptional use of color and gemstone selection. At its center lies a striking pink sapphire, weighing approximately 2 to 3 carats, notable for its rich, well-saturated hue with subtle purplish undertones. Surrounding the sapphire is a vivid halo of yellow diamonds, totaling roughly 2 carats, followed by an outer layer of white diamonds, creating a brilliant contrast that enhances the overall visual impact. The craftsmanship further reinforces its quality. Set in approximately 18-karat gold, the piece features old-cut stones, including an old circular-cut sapphire and old European-cut diamonds, both characteristic of the era. The reverse reveals an ingenious design, a retractable pendant loop and a removable brooch fitting, allowing the piece to be worn either as a brooch or a pendant without compromising comfort or aesthetics. Despite the absence of a maker's mark, the construction and stylistic elements strongly suggest an American origin.
At auction, $30,000 to $50,000.
Well, I better start taking insurance out.
If you're going to insure it, I'd probably insure it around $80,000.
Wow, that is a complete surprise. I'm shaking. Wow, Caitlin, that is amazing. Thank you. Oh my God. Phew. I can't wait to tell my daughter. She's gonna drop dead.
This brooch was commissioned by my grandfather for my grandmother, we think to commemorate the birth of my father. And this was down in Ohio, outside of Cincinnati. This would have been the sketch that would have been approved by my grandfather on his concept.
Some jewels are more than adornment. They are carefully conceived symbols, carrying intention, legacy, and even a touch of mystery. This fleur-de-lis brooch begins not at the workbench, but with a sketch, a grandfather's vision brought to life to commemorate the birth of a child, and preserved alongside its original drawing and bill of sale. Created in the early 20th century by E. Jacquard Jewelry Company of Missouri, a respected American firm of its time, the brooch reflects both personal commission and technical ambition. The fleur-de-lis motif, long associated with heritage and symbolism, is here elevated through an unusually diverse arrangement of diamonds. The composition includes marquise-cut white diamonds, pear-shaped stones in shades of brown and yellow, a vivid central yellow diamond, and subtle brownish-pink tones extending toward the edges. One particularly notable feature is the inclusion of a triangular-cut diamond, an innovation rarely seen before the rise of the Art Deco period. Its presence here suggests an early experimentation with geometric cuts, placing the piece at an intriguing transitional moment in jewelry design history. Family lore speaks of diamonds originating from France during the upheaval of the French Revolution, possibly smuggled and later incorporated into the brooch. While such provenance cannot be definitively verified, the historical connection of the Jacquard family to Huguenot roots lends the story a measure of plausibility.
If this item were to come up for sale at auction, I would put a value on this at $25,000 to $35,000.
Oh, wow. That's substantial.
It's a substantial price. Plus, I would say somewhere around $40,000 to $45,000 as an insurance value.
Yeah. Well, it's always been the sort of the good luck talisman of our family, so it's not going anywhere.
My grandparents married in 1926, and they went to Europe and particularly France for their honeymoon. And she came back with these pieces and several others. My grandmother loved these pieces. She wore them a lot. My mom did. Both of them passed away when I was fairly young, so my sister and I inherited, and we've worn them and enjoyed them.
Some heirlooms are born not just from craftsmanship, but from moments of joy, like a honeymoon that turns into a lifelong memory. This elegant jewel traces back to 1926, when it was acquired in France and carried home as part of a personal story that would span generations. Made in Paris around 1926, the piece reflects the refined geometry and innovation of the Art Deco era. At first glance, it appears to be a pave, set diamond brooch in platinum, centered with a baguette-cut diamond flanked by two tapered baguettes, all arranged with precise symmetry. Yet its true ingenuity lies beneath the surface. The brooch is fully articulated, and its fitting can be unscrewed, revealing that it was originally designed as a convertible jewel. Accompanied by its original platinum diamond set chain and bail, the piece could transform seamlessly from brooch to pendant. The currently attached aquamarine is a later addition, temporarily occupying the position where the articulated element would once have hung. With careful restoration, removing the aquamarine and reassembling the original components would return the jewel to its intended versatility. Though unsigned, the quality of materials and construction strongly suggests a high-level Parisian workshop. The survival of all original elements, chain, bail, and fittings, is particularly rare and significantly enhances its importance.
I would say that if you had to replace this item, you would have to spend about $30,000.
Whoa.
So it's a little bit more than $5,000.
My sister's going to be amazed.
Well, I brought a pin in that is stamped Tiffany, and it is full of diamonds, and I believe it's platinum. I purchased it about 30 years ago, and I tucked it away and brought it out yesterday.
Some treasures lie quietly hidden for decades, only to reveal their true brilliance when brought back into the light. This Tiffany brooch, tucked away for years after a modest purchase, emerges as a striking example of early 20th century design and enduring craftsmanship. Created by Tiffany & Co., the piece is a quintessential expression of the Art Deco era, infused with the sleek refinement of Art Moderne. Rather than relying solely on the brilliance of its stones, the brooch captivates through its architectural lines, where geometry and symmetry take center stage. Set in platinum, the composition features a harmonious arrangement of diamonds in multiple cuts, a central Old European cut, complemented by French cuts, baguette cuts, and round stones, each carefully positioned to enhance both light and structure. This interplay of varied diamond cuts reflects the technical sophistication of the period, while the clean, linear design elevates the piece beyond ornament into what can only be described as miniature sculpture. The precision of execution and clarity of form are hallmarks of Tiffany's high standards during this era, reinforcing its status as a masterwork of American jewelry design.
If you were to go to a high-end retail store today, you could look at $25,000 to $30,000 for this piece.
Okay.
So your $3,000 investment was money well spent.
No, I think so too. It's awesome. I am happy that I purchased it, and I appreciate the craftsmanship in it. So I guess I'll have to wear it from now on.
You should.
How did you come across this incredible piece of jewelry?
The usual way, I inherited it. The chain starts with my great-grandmother. In 1922, she had been widowed for 5 years.
Few pieces capture the romance of travel and the artistry of a bygone era as vividly as this remarkable jewel, a work that immediately evokes both history and craftsmanship at first glance. What stands before us is a gold and silver pendant brooch set with diamonds, an emerald, and natural pearls, dating to around 1890 and rooted in the Renaissance Revival movement with subtle Art Nouveau influence. The intricate hand-chased metalwork, combined with its refined construction, strongly suggests an origin in the Austro-Hungarian region, where such elaborate craftsmanship flourished during the late 19th century. The composition is both balanced and symbolic. A commanding cabochon emerald sits at the center, flanked by rose-cut diamonds, a deliberate stylistic nod to earlier Renaissance traditions rather than the more modern diamond cuts of the time. Surrounding this are 3 natural pearl drops, reinforcing the period's fascination with organic elegance. Particularly striking is the phoenix motif on either side of the emerald, an expressive detail that reflects the era's growing artistic freedom and the influence of flowing, nature-inspired design. The overall design recalls a historic stomacher ornament, a form popular in the 16th century, reinterpreted here with 19th century sensibilities. Its survival in complete form, without being dismantled or repurposed into smaller pieces, is exceptionally rare and significantly enhances its importance. From an art historical perspective, it stands as a compelling example of late 19th century European jewelry that bridges revivalist tradition and emerging modern aesthetics.
It's a very unusual thing to see, and it's quite special. And at auction today, I would expect it to bring in the $20,000 to $30,000 range.
Wow, that's great.
I believe it was my grandmother's. I don't remember my mother ever wearing it. I have worn it very occasionally.
At first glance, this elegant jewel may seem like a quietly inherited family keepsake, yet a closer look reveals a refined masterpiece rooted in one of the most celebrated periods of jewelry design. Passed down through generations and worn only on rare occasions, this brooch carries both understated sentiment and exceptional craftsmanship. The construction immediately distinguishes the piece. The reverse is crafted in yellow gold, while the front is executed in platinum, a deliberate choice that enhances the brilliance of the diamonds by allowing them to reflect light with greater intensity. With an approximate total weight of 2.5 carats, the diamonds are arranged in a graceful composition that reflects the refined aesthetics of the early 20th century. The design is characteristic of the Belle Époque period, particularly evident in its delicate ribbon-like motifs, which convey movement, softness, and elegance. Further examination reveals a hallmark attributed to Tiffany & Co., a name synonymous with superior craftsmanship and prestige. Signed, pieces from this maker are especially desirable as they combine artistic excellence with strong provenance. The addition of a chain, though later, reflects practical adaptation while preserving the integrity of the original brooch.
This would have an auction value of closer to $10,000 to $15,000.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
If this was in a retail shop, we found some that are selling closer to $20,000 to $30,000.
Ooh. That's a little shattering. It's a family piece. It's probably not going anywhere. That may be back in the safety deposit box.
So imagine you are invited to a party here. And you're coming off the back porch, you're walking down to see the water.
In a gown.
In a gown. And you're wearing this. Tell us what you brought in.
The pin belonged to my grandmother who lived in Chicago. I don't know where she bought it. I don't know what it's worth.
Few jewels possess the ability to transform movement into spectacle, and this remarkable piece achieves exactly that. Its cascading diamonds, shimmering like a waterfall in motion. Elegant, yet dramatic, it reflects a design philosophy centered on fluidity and light. Created around the 1940s, the piece is crafted in platinum, weighing just over 2 ounces, a clear indicator of both quality and durability. Although now worn as a brooch, its construction suggests it was originally designed as a pendant, allowing a chain to pass through the top so the diamond elements could hang freely and sway with the wearer. This sense of motion is essential to its visual impact. The diamond arrangement is particularly striking. Approximately 4 carats of baguette-cut diamonds provide structured brilliance, while an additional 9 carats of marquise-cut diamonds, in varying sizes, create a softer, more dynamic sparkle. Together, the total of roughly 13 carats is carefully composed to balance geometry with movement, resulting in a piece that feels almost alive when worn.
I would like to know.
Then I get out of here. So I would say at auction, $15,000 to $20,000.
Great.
Not bad, right?
Not bad.
Yeah.
For a bunch of rocks.
My husband, this was his mother's brooch. She never spoke about it, and when she was getting sick, she mentioned to my husband that he should give it to me when something happens. And so that's all I know about it.
Sometimes, the most quietly inherited jewels reveal the most extraordinary secrets, and this brooch is a remarkable example of hidden brilliance, waiting to be understood. This piece is a finely crafted early 20th century brooch dating to around 1910 and attributed to Shreve & Company, a prestigious American jeweler known for supplying high-quality pieces to an affluent clientele on the West Coast. Its refined yet restrained design reflects the transition from late Victorian richness toward a more streamlined Edwardian aesthetic. At the center lies a striking black opal, one of the most prized varieties of opal due to its dark body tone, which enhances the play of color across the surface. This particular stone displays a full spectrum, including yellow, orange, green, blue, and most importantly red, the rarest and most valuable hue in opals. This vivid fire is what connoisseurs seek, and it elevates the gemstone into the category of exceptional quality. Surrounding the opal are demantoid garnets, a rare green variety of garnet prized for their brilliance and scarcity. Their placement is intentional, echoing and intensifying the green flashes within the opal itself. Complementing these are old European cut diamonds, totaling approximately 3 carats, which add both light and structure to the composition without overwhelming the central stone. The brooch's design is notably clean and balanced, allowing the gemstones to take visual precedence. This simplicity, combined with high-quality materials, is characteristic of fine jewelry from this period. The presence of the Shreve mark further reinforces its authenticity and desirability among collectors.
A Shreve & Company black opal and demantoid brooch from the 1900s. I would say at auction, this would bring anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000.
Wow. Ooh, it's quite a bit.
It's a family piece, and I don't know much about it other than it came down through a cousin to my grandmother, then to my parents, and then to me.
Some heirlooms do more than pass through generations. They quietly preserve elegance, craftsmanship, and a lineage of taste. This pansy brooch, handed down through a family line, reveals itself as far more than a sentimental keepsake once its details begin to unfold. Dating from around 1900 to 1910, the piece reflects the refined aesthetic of the early 20th century, where floral motifs carried both decorative and symbolic meaning. Unlike the more commonly seen single flower designs, this brooch features 3 pansies, each rendered with vibrant enamel that has remarkably retained its richness over time. At the heart of each bloom sits an old European cut diamond, a style characteristic of the period, with each stone measuring approximately a quarter carat, notably larger than typically encountered examples. A particularly charming feature lies in one of the movable diamonds, delicately set to shift within the petals, often described as drops of dew, adding a sense of life and motion to the composition. Though the piece appears unassuming at first glance, a closer inspection reveals a discreet signature linking it to Tiffany & Co. during the era of Louis Comfort Tiffany. Whether designed directly by the studio or retailed through it, the association significantly elevates both its quality and historical importance.
This has much larger diamonds of much finer quality, and that Tiffany thing takes us the extra mile. I would suspect that in a retail situation, you could easily get $15,000 to $20,000 for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Thank you so much.
Thanks for bringing it in. Great looking piece.
This was my grandmother's, and it was given to me on my wedding day by my mom and my grandma.
Have you ever had it looked at?
No.
So what can you tell me about what it's made out of?
Coral and diamonds.
Any idea of age?
I'm assuming it's Victorian.
Some heirlooms arrive wrapped in sentiment, only to reveal a far rarer story beneath the surface. This brooch, gifted on a wedding day, and long believed to feature coral, unfolds into something far more extraordinary upon closer examination. Dating to approximately 1880 to 1890, the piece is a fine example of Victorian-era jewelry, distinguished by its naturalistic design and intricate craftsmanship. Constructed in silver-topped gold, a technique typical of the period, it is set with old mine-cut diamonds that offer a soft, romantic brilliance characteristic of pre-modern cutting styles. The organic form reflects the Victorian fascination with nature, rendered here with subtle elegance. The most remarkable feature, however, lies in the pink gemstones. Initially assumed to be coral, they are in fact conch pearls, among the rarest organic gems in the world. Formed within the queen conch of the Caribbean, these pearls occur in roughly 1 out of every 1,000 shells, and specimens of this size are exceptionally uncommon. Their soft, flame-like structure and delicate coloration set them apart from traditional pearls, elevating the brooch into a category of true rarity.
A fair auction estimate for this brooch we see to be in the range of $15,000 to $20,000.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, no, I know. It's good and old.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful.
You're kidding me. Oh my gosh.
What first appeared to be simply a distinctive piece among inherited family jewelry soon reveals itself as a rare and thoughtfully composed treasure. Passed down through generations of a family with roots in England and later life in Manhattan, this brooch captures both refined taste and the quiet luxury of early 20th century design. Created around 1920, the piece reflects the clean geometry and elegance associated with the Art Deco era. Formed in platinum and set with old European cut diamonds, its star-like silhouette evokes balance and brilliance, yet the tension, making them far rarer than cultured varieties. The composition includes luminous white pearls, but most remarkable are two closely matched pink pearls, an extraordinary natural pairing that may have taken years to assemble. At the center sits a bluish-gray pearl of notable size, displaying shifting overtones that add depth and individuality to the piece. This nuanced palette of white, pink, and blue tones elevates the brooch beyond conventional design.
The piece belonged to my grandmother. She was from Italy and then New York City in about 1907. My grandfather, who purchased it, was the maitre d' at the Waldorf Astoria. The Tiffany jewelers used to come in.
At first glance, this elegant brooch evokes the refined glamour of early 20th century society, its origins intertwined with both European heritage and the sophistication of New York's high society. Acquired around 1905 to 1910 by a maitre d' at the iconic Waldorf Astoria, the piece reflects a moment when personal connections and craftsmanship converged in the world of fine jewelry. This brooch is attributed to Louis Comfort Tiffany and bears the signature of Tiffany & Co., placing it firmly within one of the most influential design houses of the period. At its center sits a luminous cabochon moonstone, likely sourced from Ceylon, renowned for producing stones with exceptional agilurescence and soft internal glow. Surrounding this are Montana sapphires, gemstones with a fascinating history, often linked to English-controlled mining operations at the turn of the century, yet incorporated here into a distinctly American-made jewel. The construction of the piece is equally noteworthy. It features a combination of yellow gold on the reverse and platinum on the front, a deliberate technique used to enhance the brilliance of the gemstones. The intricate filigree work, executed entirely by hand through soldering and piercing, creates a delicate, lace-like structure that exemplifies the craftsmanship of the era. This level of detail and technical execution reflects the transition into more refined and airy jewelry design during the early 1900s.
I'd say you'd have to spend around $18,000.
Whoa.
So it's a
No,
wonderful
I had
thing.
no idea.
It's a wonderful
None
thing.
at all.
And you told me you had a dream last night about the value.
I did. I dreamt that you told me it was worth $660.
That's a little bit more than that.
On occasion, I've worn it to weddings.
I inherited it from my mother, who received it from her grandmother. They lived in New York City, and this was part of a longette.
At first glance, the piece carries a romantic story of transformation, said to have once been part of opera glasses, yet the construction tells a different, more convincing narrative. Examining the reverse, there is no trace of hinges, tubing, or spring-loaded mechanisms that would support such a function. Instead, the pin, catch, and joint appear original and consistent, confirming that this jewel was always conceived as a brooch. Dating to around 1905 to 1915, it belongs to the refined aesthetic of the Belle Époque period. The composition is striking, featuring approximately 10 carats of old European cut diamonds, each around half a carat, exhibiting excellent color in the F to G range and clarity at VS or better. Their soft, deep brilliance reflects the cutting style of the era. At the center sits a remarkable natural pearl, about 10 millimeters in size, with a button shape, exceptional luster, and rich nacre. Its warm glow contrasts beautifully with the crisp sparkle of the diamonds. Notably, the pearl's value rivals that of the diamonds themselves, underscoring its rarity. Crafted in platinum, with no visible maker's mark, the piece is most consistent with early 20th century American manufacture.
So if I put this into auction, I would put it in for $12,000 to $18,000. All right? I would expect it to do exceedingly well. I don't see it selling at the low. I would insure it for $28,000.
Thank you.
My grandmother received it when she was 18 years old in 1910. She got it from a boyfriend. She's cherished it all these years. And when I turned 18, she had handed it down to me.
Did she marry the boyfriend?
No, unfortunately she didn't. I really don't even know what his name was. Wish I would have known that, but...
Poor guy.
At first glance, this charming jewel appears to be a simple token of youthful affection, yet it reveals a far richer story upon closer examination. Presented in 1910 to an 18-year-old young woman by an admirer, this exquisite turtle brooch has passed through generations, preserving both sentiment and exceptional craftsmanship. The most striking aspect lies in its materials and construction. Contrary to common assumption, the vivid green stones are not emeralds, but demantoid garnets, a rare variety first discovered in Russia in the 19th century and celebrated for their remarkable brilliance. These gemstones were especially favored by English and French jewelers, indicating a refined aesthetic typical of the late Victorian period. The piece was likely crafted in England around 1890, entirely by hand, with a carefully carved gold setting, estimated at 15 to 18 carats, designed to secure each stone with precision. Enhancing its visual appeal are delicate diamond accents and tiny ruby eyes, bringing lifelike character to the turtle motif. Its dual functionality, as both a brooch and a pendant, increases its versatility, while the animal form, traditionally associated with longevity and good fortune, adds symbolic significance. From a collecting standpoint, the combination of form, rarity, and gemstone quality creates a highly desirable object. Demantoid garnets, in particular, have maintained strong demand over decades and are often valued even above emeralds in certain markets.
As a retail value today, you're talking about $12,000, $15,000, and possibly even $18,000. I mean, it's really quite a wonderful thing and a very saleable thing.
I plan on continuing the history and giving it to my granddaughter and hoping she will do the same with her granddaughter.
Good.
I actually inherited it for my birthday last year from my Aunt Libby, and she got it from her Aunt Libby, and she's from Leesburg, and she's had it in her family for a long time. And ever since I saw this piece of jewelry, I just thought it was the most beautiful thing. And since my Aunt Libby doesn't have kids, for my birthday, she gave it to me. So I was really excited.
At first glance, this unusual jewel may divide opinion, yet its true significance lies far beyond first impressions. Passed down through generations of a Leesburg family, the piece carries both personal history and the refined craftsmanship of an important American jewelry house. The centerpiece is a vivid opal with striking matrix lines, strongly reminiscent of boulder opal, where natural inclusions create a dynamic play of color and texture. Rather than diminishing its beauty, these brown lines give the stone depth and individuality. Surrounding the opal are old mine-cut diamonds, offering a softer, warmer brilliance that harmonizes with the organic quality of the gem. Accents of green enamel add contrast and richness, a hallmark of turn-of-the-century design. The piece is signed by Marcus & Company, founded by Herman Marcus, who trained in Europe and later worked with Tiffany & Co. before establishing his own firm. The design reflects the elegance of Art Nouveau, known for flowing lines, natural motifs, and exceptional enamel work influenced by artisans connected to René Lalique.
If you had to rewrite that insurance appraisal today, you would have to rewrite it for $12,000.
Oh my goodness.
It's an important piece, and Marcus Jewelry, while it's always been good, more people are recognizing his genius.
Wow. And I will save it for whoever's named Elizabeth in my next generation.
My grandfather was an industrialist in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he would purchase from auctions and different jewelers in the Pittsburgh area items from estates. So this pin has been in our family for 3 generations.
Some jewels carry not only brilliance, but echoes of society, legacy, and a touch of legend. This striking horseshoe brooch, passed down through 3 generations, emerges from a world of grand estates, glittering fundraisers, and stories that blur the line between memory and myth. Dating to the late 19th century, around the turn of 1900, the piece reflects both symbolism and craftsmanship of its era. The horseshoe, long regarded as a talisman of good fortune, is here rendered on an extraordinary scale, far larger and more elaborate than typically encountered examples. Though family lore connects it to Lillian Russell, such attributions remain unverified without documented provenance and do not materially affect its valuation. Technically, the brooch is a fine example of American jewelry design from the period. It is constructed in platinum-topped 14-karat yellow gold, a method widely used at the time to combine the strength and brilliance of platinum with the warmth of gold. The surface is set with approximately 15 carats of old European-cut diamonds, each stone exhibiting the soft, lively scintillation characteristic of pre-modern cutting techniques. The uniformity and quality of these diamonds contribute significantly to the piece's visual impact. Unsigned, yet unmistakably accomplished, the brooch stands out not only for its size, but also for its refined execution, making it one of the most impressive examples within this familiar motif.
If I were putting this into an auction, I think an auction estimate of $10,000 to $15,000 would be totally appropriate, and I feel it would likely perform at the high end or beyond its estimate.
Good.
My grandmother had these pieces, and she liked to collect things that had animal imagery on them. And when she passed these things along to me directly because we both shared an affinity for beautiful objects.
Some collections are more than decorative. They reveal a collector's eye, a personality, and a quiet dialogue across generations. These animal-themed jewels, passed down from a grandmother to a kindred spirit, reflect not only a shared affection for beauty, but also a refined appreciation for symbolic design. The first piece, a serpent, is both striking and sophisticated. Its body coils elegantly, with the tail ingeniously forming the bail, a clever integration of form and function. At its head sits a pear-shaped diamond of just over 1 carat, cut in the old mine style, surrounded by smaller diamonds that enhance its presence. The vivid blue ground is a substantial piece of lapis lazuli, providing dramatic contrast. Crafted in 18-karat gold and likely of French origin, the piece dates to the 1830s to 1840s, placing it firmly within the Georgian era, a time known for its handcrafted detail and symbolic motifs. The second piece, a bird, offers an even deeper narrative. Also originating from the Georgian period, it showcases the delicate technique known as canatille, a form of intricate gold wirework developed during a time when gold was scarce. The fine filigree construction gives the piece an airy lightness, typical of jewelry designed to be worn on long chains in high-waisted fashion silhouettes of the era. Originally a pendant, as evidenced by a small loop near the beak, it was later converted into a brooch with a trombone clasp mechanism. Signs of restoration and alteration, often referred to as a marriage, are visible, yet they do not diminish its historical charm.
We decided a nice retail value on the snake is about $4,000 to $6,000.
Oh, wow, okay.
All right. Now, on the bird, even in this condition, even though it's been what we call a marriage has been changed from its original function. In a high-end retail situation, the bird is going to be $5,000 to $7,000.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was my grandmother's pen given to my mother, and then my mother gave it to me. Sad to say, I don't know where my grandmother got it, if her husband gave it to her for an important birthday or anniversary or a gift from her father. I have no idea. She gave it to me at age 94. She said she wasn't wearing it that much, so she said I could have it.
There are moments when a jewel reveals its story not through signatures, but through design, craftsmanship, and the era it so clearly embodies. And this brooch is one of those rare pieces. This elegant diamond brooch is a strong example of Art Deco design, dating to around 1930. Though unsigned, its original fitted box from Myron Freeman & Brothers provides an important contextual anchor, suggesting it was retailed through this Atlanta-based jeweler during the early 20th century. Crafted in pierced platinum, the brooch showcases the precision and geometry characteristic of the Art Deco period. At its center sits an old European cut diamond weighing just over 1 carat, notable for its lively brilliance and pleasing white color. This central stone anchors the entire composition, drawing the eye while balancing the intricate openwork that surrounds it. In total, the brooch contains approximately 4.5 carats of diamonds. Each element is entirely hand-fabricated, reflecting a level of workmanship that predates modern mass production. The delicate piercing of the platinum allows light to pass through the stones, enhancing their sparkle while maintaining the crisp, architectural lines that define the style.
And at auction today, I would give it a conservative estimate somewhere in the neighborhood of $6,500 to $8,500.
Wow. That's nice to know, although, as I said, I have no intent of selling it because I love the family history with it.
Well, it was my grandmother on my mother's side, and we believe she had some French in her, so we think it's probably from France, and it's been in our family for a very long time. Doesn't come out of the box too often, don't have much occasion to wear it, but have always just loved it and just think it's gorgeous and want to find out more about it.
Some treasures spend decades hidden away in a box, quietly preserving their brilliance until the right moment brings them back into the light, and this exquisite piece is one of them. Passed down through generations of a family with likely French heritage, this jewel embodies both personal history and the refined elegance of early 20th century design. Upon close examination, the piece reveals itself as an authentic example of Art Deco craftsmanship, executed in platinum and set with more than 200 diamonds. The majority of these stones are rose-cut, a style known for its soft, romantic glow rather than the intense brilliance of modern cuts. Altogether, the diamonds total just over 2 carats, carefully arranged to emphasize symmetry and geometric harmony, hallmarks of French Art Deco jewelry. While the exact maker remains unidentified, its quality and construction strongly suggest origin in France, a center of excellence for fine jewelry during this period. What makes this piece particularly noteworthy is its authenticity. Many reproductions exist that imitate this distinctive style, yet genuine examples from the era are increasingly scarce. The craftsmanship, the use of platinum, and the delicate setting of numerous small diamonds all point to a piece created not merely for adornment, but as a statement of sophistication and modernity during its time.
On today's market, I would say retail value between $6,000 and $8,000.
Ooh, that's nice. And so many diamonds too. Wow, thank you. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
I brought in this pin. It was in my father's safe deposit box, and we had to open it when he passed. We actually someone had to drill it open, and we found a bunch of jewelry that I had never seen before.
Few discoveries rival the quiet thrill of unlocking the past, especially when a long-forgotten object suddenly reveals both beauty and significance in a single glance. This striking pin, uncovered among heirlooms long hidden away, immediately commands attention through the mesmerizing play of light within its central stone. At the heart of the piece lies a cushion-cut sapphire of approximately 1 carat, whose rich, velvety blue hue strongly suggests the highly coveted origins associated with cashmere, a source renowned for producing some of the finest sapphires ever discovered in the late 19th century. Stylistically, the pin dates to around 1915 and reflects the emerging geometry of Art Deco, evident in its Greek key motif and balanced, symmetrical composition. The sapphire is framed by rose-cut diamonds and accented with additional fancy-cut sapphires, enhancing both brilliance and structural harmony. The mounting itself, crafted in platinum over 1/4 karat gold, is consistent with early 20th century American jewelry practices, even in the absence of a maker's mark. One notable condition issue is the loss of a small sapphire accent, a detail that, while restorable, would require careful and considered replacement. From a gemological perspective, the true significance of this piece hinges on confirming the sapphire's origin. Cashmere sapphires, formed after a rare geological event in the Himalayas around 1880 and mined only for a limited period, are among the rarest and most desirable in the world. Their distinctive velvet blue coloration is difficult to replicate and remains a defining characteristic for collectors and connoisseurs alike.
I'm very glad it's here. If we get that lab report, and it is a cashmere sapphire, and it is about 1 carat, I would have no problem estimating this for auction in the $15,000 to $20,000 range.
Oh my goodness. I guess we're going to have to reopen the estate. I'm going to have to divide this 3 ways.
Well, if the sapphire is not from cashmere, I would still say in the $5,000 to $7,000 ballpark.
I purchased that piece from an antique broker in our area. Basically, I bought it for the gold weight to keep and not to get rid of, but for an investment.
How many months ago or how many years ago did you do that?
I bought it about 6 months ago.
Do you mind me asking how much you paid for it?
I paid right around $800
$800.
What was acquired simply for its gold value turns out to be a far more compelling object, one that reflects a 19th century fascination with the ancient world and the revival of lost techniques. This brooch can be identified as part of the archaeological revival jewelry produced around the 1870s to 1880s. During this period, major excavations in places like Pompeii and Egypt inspired jewelers, particularly in Italy, to recreate the forms and methods of ancient Etruscan and Greek goldsmiths. The craftsmanship seen here strongly supports an Italian origin, created not as a souvenir, but for a clientele with an appreciation for historical artistry. The surface is enriched with fine granulation, a demanding process in which tiny gold spheres are fused to the metal, alongside twisted wire details that frame the composition. These techniques are technically complex and rarely executed with such precision outside of this revival period. At the center, an unusual and expressive figure gives the piece a distinctive identity, setting it apart from more conventional jewelry and appealing to collectors drawn to bold, character-driven design. Pieces like this often defy immediate recognition, especially when evaluated solely for material content. However, the combination of historical inspiration, craftsmanship, and rarity significantly elevates its importance.
Being what it is makes it more unusual. You're looking at about $5,000 to $7,000 at auction.
Wow. Well, thank you
A
very
neat
much.
piece.
Yeah, now I'm really happy that
Yeah.
I invested in it.
I
so
think you did a good job.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The pin was actually my great-grandmother's, I understand, and she gave it to my grandmother. And this is my grandmother in 1918 in her wedding day. And then my grandmother had one child, my father, and this is my grandmother on my father and mother's wedding day in 1948. And she's wearing the pin each time.
This substantial horseshoe brooch, dating to the early 20th century, around 1918, is crafted in platinum, a material prized at the time for its strength and ability to securely hold gemstones. Though unsigned, its construction and design strongly suggest American manufacture, as many pieces from this period in the United States were produced without formal hallmarks. The brooch is set with 37 old mine-cut diamonds, totaling approximately 6 carats. These stones are carefully graduated in size, beginning with larger stones near the top, around 0.2 carats, and tapering down to smaller stones of about 0.1 carats toward the ends. This graduated arrangement enhances the natural curve of the horseshoe while maximizing brilliance and balance. Complementing the diamonds is finely executed hand engraving along the surface, adding texture and craftsmanship that elevate the piece beyond simple ornamentation. Notably, the design is convertible. A concealed hinged element indicates that it was originally intended to function both as a brooch and as a pendant. Over time, modifications have altered this feature, with the removable mechanism now fixed, reflecting the piece's long history of use and adaptation. The horseshoe motif itself has long been associated with luck and protection, though tradition suggests orientation plays a role in symbolism. Regardless of how it was worn, this piece clearly served as a cherished talisman across generations.
I feel today at auction a pin like this would be $5,000 to $7,000 at auction.
That much?
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I had no idea.
Well, my grandmother, her name is Virginia, but I call her Jenna affectionately. She worked downtown Atlanta. She worked for Western Union there, and so she made that trek from where we're in a very rural area, about an hour and a half south every day. So before they built the interstates and stuff, she was traveling home from work and thought she noticed what looked like a pocketbook on the side of the road. So she turned around, went back, grabbed the pocketbook, and when she got home, inside the pocketbook was 3 $100 bills in mid-50s. And this was wrapped up in some tissue.
Sometimes, a simple roadside discovery can quietly carry a story across generations. This brooch was found in the mid-20th century inside an unclaimed handbag, later returned through official channels and ultimately kept, becoming a treasured family heirloom passed down over time. What we have here is an American brooch crafted in platinum and 18-karat yellow gold, set with diamonds and rubies, dating to the early 1930s, just after the height of the Art Deco period. The design is both charming and technically accomplished, centering on 2 lovebirds perched within a finely constructed nest. The nest itself is rendered in brushed yellow gold, with overlapping elements that convincingly mimic natural branches. Within it sit 3 eggs, each set with single-cut diamonds, adding both symbolism and detail. Across the brooch, the diamonds are uniformly matched, totaling approximately 5 carats, with a soft brilliance typical of early 20th century cuts. The ruby-set eyes provide a vivid contrast, while small gold bead accents unify the composition. Though unsigned, the quality of craftsmanship suggests a highly skilled American maker. The use of platinum alongside yellow gold reflects transitional design practices of the era, combining structural strength with visual warmth.
If this was to be sold at auction, I would expect it to bring somewhere between $4,000 and $6,000.
Okay, super cool.
For retail, I'd say about double, maybe $10,000 to $15,000.
Okay, awesome. Well, my grandmother is going to be so excited. I begged her to come, but she wouldn't come with all us crazy people, she said. But she'll be excited for me to give her the details on it. And
good.
She's had it in a coat pocket for years before she gave it to me, so.
It's a Roy Lichtenstein pin. It was given to me in the 1970s by a very dear aunt and uncle who were collectors of California contemporary art in Los Angeles. I wear it on occasion, but most of the time it's in a case on my nightstand so I can see it every day.
Some objects blur the line between fine art and personal adornment, and this striking pin is a perfect example, transforming a celebrated artistic language into something that can be worn and lived with every day. Created in the late 1960s, this piece is attributed to Roy Lichtenstein, one of the leading figures of pop art. Produced around 1968 through Multiples Incorporated, the pin reflects the company's mission to make works by major artists accessible to a wider audience. These pieces were often sold in museum shops, allowing collectors to acquire artist-designed objects at modest prices at the time. The design features what can be described as an abstract modern head, rendered in polychrome enamel and defined by the distinctive Ben-Day dots technique, a printing method developed by Benjamin Day and famously adopted by Lichtenstein. The use of these dots, combined with bold lines and graphic color, creates the illusion of mechanical reproduction while remaining entirely handcrafted in execution. On the reverse, the piece bears an incised facsimile signature of the artist, along with a 1968 copyright date and the mark of Multiples Incorporated, confirming its authenticity and period of production. While variations of this pin exist in different colorways, each carries its own degree of rarity. Examples such as this demonstrate how Lichtenstein's visual language could successfully transition from canvas to object without losing its conceptual strength.
Now, the black and white one, there were fewer of them produced. That one, when it comes up, which is rare, regularly brings around $10,000. This is just a great, great pin. I'm just so happy you brought it in.
Thank you. To me, it's priceless, but I'm thrilled to know that it is valuable.
I brought in a Van Cleef & Arpels butterfly brooch. My parents had gone on vacation to Paris, I believe in the late 60s, and my father bought this for my mother in an antique store in Paris.
Some jewels capture not only beauty, but also the spirit of an era, and this elegant butterfly brooch does so with unmistakable charm. Acquired in Paris as a gift between husband and wife, it reflects both romance and the enduring appeal of fine French jewelry design. This piece is attributed to Van Cleef & Arpels, a maison founded in 1906 through the union of Alfred Van Cleef and Estelle Arpels. Known for its rapid rise to prominence, the firm became celebrated for its imaginative motifs, particularly animals and insects rendered with a sense of movement and whimsy. The brooch, dated to 1971 as indicated by its copyright mark, exemplifies this design philosophy. At its center is a carved tiger's eye gemstone, prized for its chatoyancy, the luminous banding that shifts with light, evoking the appearance of a tiger's gaze. This dynamic stone is set within 18-karat yellow gold, accompanied by 12 round, brilliant cut diamonds totaling approximately 0.25 carats, adding subtle brilliance without overpowering the design. The craftsmanship is especially noteworthy. The tiger's eye is carefully curved, and the gold mounting follows this contour precisely, creating a naturalistic three-dimensional form. Even the antennae are shaped to echo the delicate lines of a butterfly in motion. The use of a trombone clasp, a higher quality fastening mechanism, further confirms the piece's refined construction and attention to detail. Beyond materials and technique, the brooch reflects the broader aesthetic of mid to late 20th century luxury jewelry, where artistry and playfulness were balanced with technical mastery. Pieces like this were embraced by prominent collectors and cultural figures, reinforcing the Maison's global reputation.
This piece today at auction would be $4,000 to $6,000.
Very nice. Thank you.
You going to wear it?
I think I will. Although I do have granddaughters who are eyeing it, so I may have to share.
Turkey pin, it came into our family through a wealthy couple. They had a ranch in Florida outside of Tampa, and they had a wild turkey just kind of adopt them. And the turkey strutted around the yard and interacted with them.
Sometimes, the most whimsical stories give rise to the most unexpected works of art. This brooch, inspired by a beloved turkey named Napoleon, transforms a moment of affection and loss into a finely crafted jewel, blending personal narrative with skilled artistry. Commissioned in New York in the mid-20th century, likely between the 1940s and 1950s, the piece reflects a period when figural jewelry enjoyed renewed popularity. Though initially thought to be simple costume work, closer examination reveals a far more refined construction. The brooch is made of 18-karat gold, its weight enhanced by a rich application of vitreous enamel rather than cloisonné. This enamel technique allows for smooth, painterly color transitions, evident in the lifelike rendering of the turkey's plumage, where subtle tonal variations are achieved with notable precision. The reverse shows counter-enameling, a technical feature used to stabilize the metal and preserve the brooch's dimensional integrity over time. Despite the absence of a maker's mark, the level of detail and complexity suggests the hand of a highly skilled workshop. The sculptural quality, combined with the narrative origin, places this piece within a tradition of bespoke commissions, where jewelry serves as both ornament and storytelling medium.
This would have been a very expensive gift for him to have made for her. I would put an auction estimate of $3,000 to $4,000.
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Cousin Carolyn may want it back. That's amazing.
And I think you should wear it next to the next Thanksgiving dinner.
Definitely.
Pin in the shape of a butterfly. I was asked by a friend to go to an estate sale. The estate was from a prominent family in our area, and there were quite a few higher-end, nicer items, and I was able to purchase this at the auction.
Few jewels capture both natural wonder and artistic imagination, quite like this delicate butterfly pin, a piece that immediately draws the eye with its shifting flashes of color. At its heart lies opal, a gemstone formed from biogenic silica over millions of years, created by the compression of microscopic marine organisms. The vivid play of color seen here strongly suggests origin from Lightning Ridge, one of the world's most celebrated sources of high-quality opal. The design reflects the enduring fascination with nature during the Victorian era, particularly in the late 19th century, when insect motifs became highly fashionable. The butterfly form, symbolizing transformation and freedom, is enhanced by carefully selected materials, cabochon, ruby eyes, confirmed as natural through their reaction under ultraviolet light, and a single old European cut diamond of approximately 0.2 carats. The body features oxidized silver, creating contrast against the 18-karat yellow gold frame, a combination typical of finely crafted jewelry of the period. Dating likely between 1875 and the early 1900s, the piece aligns with Victorian-era aesthetics, where symbolism and craftsmanship were equally valued. Despite the absence of a definitive maker's mark, the construction and style suggest English manufacture. Notably, opals, once surrounded by superstition in the 19th century, regained popularity after being endorsed by Queen Victoria, who embraced them in royal jewelry and helped restore their reputation.
In my opinion, it's like $750 per wing.
Oh.
Easy. Okay.
Okay, wonderful.
I'm going to go with, at auction, $3,000 to $5,000 today.
Great. Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I was shopping in Palm Springs, California, about 1996. I saw it and I noticed that it looked like a prop. It's not fine jewelry, but it looks like a hand-painted watercolor in there. The tag said that it was a piece of costume jewelry worn by Paulette Goddard in the movie Kitty, 1945.
At first glance, this intriguing brooch appears to be a simple piece of costume jewelry, yet it carries a remarkable connection to the golden age of Hollywood. discovered in Palm Springs in the mid-1990s. The piece was originally identified as a film prop worn by Paulette Goddard in the 1945 film Kitty, a detail later reinforced by period publicity photographs showing the brooch clearly in use on screen. Though not fine jewelry, the piece demonstrates the ingenuity of studio-era craftsmanship. It was produced by Eugene Joseph of Hollywood, a maker renowned for supplying jewelry to film studios. One of his signature innovations was the so-called Russian gold plating technique, a matte, non-reflective finish designed specifically to prevent glare under intense studio lighting. This functional adaptation is visible on the reverse, where the subdued gold tone avoids unwanted reflections on camera. The brooch itself features faux pearls set in base metal, complemented by likely Austrian crystals and glass elements. At its center lies a painted insert resembling porcelain, though in reality it is a carefully executed watercolor, an unusual feature not commonly documented in Joseph's known works. The reverse also bears inventory markings, a system used by the workshop to catalog and rent pieces rather than sell them outright, highlighting an early form of asset management within the film industry.
Given the fact that you have this wonderful picture of her wearing it, I think at auction it would be somewhere in the $2,000 to $3,000 range.
That surprises me. Thank you. That's more information than I ever imagined.
This brooch belonged to my grandmother. She always called it the phoenix. You know, it was like forbidden to touch the phoenix. But I would go and touch the phoenix, and I looked at it, and it's a stork. But all the time I was growing up, it was the phoenix. My grandmother died in 2012. It came to my mom and to me. In 2018, our house burned down. I had time to get my dogs out, thankfully, but I couldn't grab anything. Everything was flattened, but this we found in the rubble. I was lucky to have it in an old dental cabinet. It has the metal.
So that's how it was protected.
Some objects survive not just the passage of time, but events that would erase almost everything else. This brooch, long known in one family as the Phoenix, carries a name that feels almost prophetic, having endured both generational change and even a devastating house fire before re-emerging from the ashes. Dating from approximately 1890 to 1910, this piece reflects a period when naturalistic animal motifs were highly fashionable, bridging the late Victorian era and the emergence of the Art Nouveau style. Though affectionately called a phoenix, the form is more accurately that of a stork, rendered with remarkable realism. The finely engraved plumage demonstrates a high level of craftsmanship, capturing texture and movement with precision. The brooch is primarily constructed in 18-karat gold, while its edges are accentuated with platinum settings that hold a series of diamonds, adding contrast and brilliance. This combination of gold and platinum was an advanced technique for the time, allowing jewelers to highlight stones while maintaining structural integrity. Visible signs of fire damage remain on the surface, a testament to its survival. While such damage can be professionally restored, it does have a modest impact on value, though not enough to diminish its historical and aesthetic significance.
We would put an auction estimate on the piece of $2,000 to $2,500.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.